Good day, everyone. I would like to share to you my simple research in improving reading skills with the use of Lego reading to read simple sentences. So I'm Xiangqi Evelyn from SK KAMPUNG JAMBU Taiping, and this is my email. Mark Van once says, the art of teaching is the art of assisting discovery. So today I will share with you what I'm doing with the research I'm going on. So these are my table of contents. I'll start off with one issue, a problem statement, and then a pre-observation, followed by a reflection before the intervention, my research participants, the research planning, the implementation of this research, post-observation, a reflection after intervention, and appendixes. So we'll start off with problem statement. So my problem statement here started off with the need for online learning has increased due to its capacity to reach wide audience during this pandemic. So according to one of a Malaysian research, students' computer and internet efficacy as well as personal variables such as gender, ethnicity, and course year level does influence online learning preparedness. So as a teacher, it could be said that educators can only keep reflect upon their methods and deliverance in teaching to outbest the current situation. So there is an urgent need to come up with an effective reading method. So one of the challenge of teacher is to teach reading skills during pandemic. I noticed that teacher rarely focus on reading skills during online classes. It's because not because they are neglecting the importance of reading skills to the pupils, but the students just unwillingly to actively participate in reading activity. So students may either seem shy to read or not motivated to read during online reading activities. So the weak children would be in a disadvantage and are more lessly involved in reading activities. So now I'm going to share a little bit about pre-observation. So this is my pre-observation. Teaching English is a mixed ability class with weak pupils are very challenging, especially during pandemic. Weaker students more likely seems to be neglected. So as time goes by, they have hard time reading simple words or phrases, and reading a sentence is definitely a huge problem for them. This is due to the fact that most parents were busy working and hardly had time to guide them reading simple sentences one by one. Realizing this, the issue should be given a solution as online learning had become main channel for pupils to learn. One obvious observation during online classes about how the pupils participate. It seems that pupils less participate in reading activities. They prefer to be silent and listen to the teacher reading it for them or read it together in a low tone, very passive low tone. Most of the time they also close their face and mute their microphone during classes. So as a teacher, I had problem in approaching them to read better because it's difficult to reach them when they mute their mic. So this is one proof of my online class with my pupils. So the third part, reflection before intervention. Based on the observation, I noticed that most pupils' proficiency level is below average, and just a handful of pupils belongs to average category in terms of reading proficiency. The inquiry assessment on their proficiency level were carried out based on reading aloud single word level reading skills, and reading comprehension to determine their proficiency in reading task. Due to the restriction of learning from home, the pupils lack interaction and guidance from teacher. Hence, it implicates the pupils' grasp in reading mechanics. I reflected that pupils struggle a lot in English when it comes to writing and reading because they have similar range of vocabulary, they have smaller range of vocabulary as they are lack of exposure. The students need to familiarize themselves with online reading, and teacher has to find an effective way to curb their passive attitude in reading session. Thus, in teaching reading effectively, I decided to use Lego reading as a method to overcome this reading issue. So these are my research participants. The participants will be students of Year 2 Neptune in SK KAMPUNG JAMBU. There are a total of 5 pupils who participated in this research. So participants were selected out of 3 criteria. The first one, English proficiency level. The second one, willingness to participate in classroom. And the last one, the participant's background. So for English proficiency level, the targeted group has a low proficiency level of English. And for willingness to participate, most of the time the targeted group learns English based on their mood. If they are not in a good mood in learning, they will give little or no cooperation during my English lesson. And the background of the participants is from average socioeconomic status, where most parents are busy and rarely have time to guide their children in learning. So for research planning, I will focus on 4 aspects, namely research objectives, research questions, research focus, and research methodology. So for my research objective is to examine the effectiveness of Lego reading in improving reading. My specific objective would be to examine whether Lego reading helped Year 2 pupils in reading simple sentences, and to explore how Lego reading helped in teaching Year 2 pupils in reading simple sentences. For my research question, it would be, does Lego reading help in improving reading skills? Specific questions would be, does Lego reading help Year 2 pupils in reading simple sentences? How does Lego reading help Year 2 pupils in reading simple sentences? So my research focus would be Lego reading. The use of Lego reading can help pupils develop reading habit through the recognition of words and pronunciation in sentences in a fun way. Lego reading is taken from the term Lego, where pupils learn to build phrases to sentence and they read it. It is a step-by-step reading where pictures and colors are added as code to let them understand the flow of the sentence. So given an example, Lego reading, namely we have 3 sessions in Lego reading, namely who, which is in pink, what, which is in blue, and why, which is in green. The use of colors and pictures itself is attractive and it could encourage pupils to actively participate in the lesson. To sum it up, Lego reading can help pupils to train themselves in reading simple sentences with fluency. It helps them to get out from the boring process of improving their reading skills. Research methodology, I've used 2 methods. One is oral test. I have a pre-oral test and a post-oral test before and after the intervention. And I have an observation checklist where you need to fill up in your observation in an observation form. So the implement of research, I focus on 2. The first one is research planning and the second one is my research findings. So based on the planning, this intervention was carried out in 4 weeks' time. The first week, we focus on planning, where we carry out the first lesson without the use of intervention and administration a pre-intervention test. For the second week, acting, I started to use Lego teaching to teach them. So as the third week, observing, using Lego reading to teach them reading, and finally the fourth week, reflecting, where I administrate a post-intervention test to the participants. In the research findings, based on the results for the first week, pupils hardly able to read words or phrases independently. For the second week, pupils shows interest in reading simple words and phrases. For the third week, pupils are able to read simple sentences with less guidance. And the fourth week, pupils are able to use that knowledge to create creative sentences to read using Lego reading. For example, a handsome thief sings with minions in a dark cave. So based on my observation, but post-observation, based on the form, the observation checklist, it can be seen that both observation indicates that the use of Lego reading was effective as pupils were attracted to the idea of the intervention, and both observation indicate that participants show active involvement in teaching and learning activity during the implementation of Lego reading. For students' behavior, it indicates that Lego reading help pupils to understand the lesson better, as people have fun using Lego reading during the teaching and learning process. Pupils were also able to read simple sentences accurately after using Lego reading. So the result shows the objective of the research has achieved. And the last part is reflection after the intervention. So in this session, I will cover two. First is reflection after the intervention. Second is suggestions for future research. So this is my reflection after the intervention. Based on the data, pupil shows improvement in reading simple phrases and sentences. During the implementation of the intervention, I could see that pupils were very excited and wanted to arrange the phrases from who to what to produce simple sentences and read it out loud. I also observed that pupils were fascinated with the intervention and were able to learn through fun and stress-free way. After using Lego reading, I noticed that pupils' perceptions toward learning reading has slight changes. Before the implementation of Lego reading, pupils shows lack of interest in learning reading, even if it's simple phrases. However, now pupils show more interest in learning reading and were eager to try to read out their answers whenever they were asked to read something based on the selected topic after the implementation of Lego reading. So here is a suggestion for further research. I would suggest that researcher can use Lego reading and integrate with writing skills, where researcher can transform reading to writing simple sentences. The combination of phrases from who, what, and where box will be written on the paper. So for example, phrases of a boy planted a tree in the forest can be combined to create a simple writing, which is a boy planted a tree in the forest. And lastly, by integrating Lego reading into writing tasks, teacher can give added value to sharpen their sentence construction ability. Pupils can come up with some creative ideas and possibility in their sentence construction. So I would like to share with you some appendixes. So these are the sample of Lego reading. We have 3 rows: who, what, and where. So students can randomly just choose who, the character, and what are the character doing and where is it. For example, a cat eats pizza at the playground. Now here is a simple video clip of the initial idea of how pupil using Lego reading to read. It's a simple sample. Hope you enjoy. What's that?
Said lion.
Okay, very good. saw a mermaid, yes.
In a swimming pool.
Very good. Now try to read the full sentence.
A sad lion saw a mermaid in a swimming pool.
Very good. Thank you. So that's all from me. I hope you understand my research and thank you very much.